views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Good morning, everyone. Pursuant to Chapter 4, Section 85, and Chapter 69, Section 2706 of the New York City Charter, a joint meeting of the Bronx Borough Service Cabinet and the Bronx Borough Board will take place on Thursday, December 14th, 2017 at 9:15 a.m. at 851 Grand Concourse, room 403. We have 3 items on the agenda, and the first one requires a vote. And without any further ado, I'm going to call on that particular item. It's regarding the lease for the development of Bronx Point to Bronx Point LLC. We have a presentation by Charlie Samboy, the Assistant Vice President for Government and Community Relations, and Hannah Burde, the Senior Associate for Real Estate Transaction Services. Both of them are from the Economic Development Corporation. So Charlie and Hannah, please come forth. Oh, you're right here, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, staff of the Borough President's Office. Thank you, Marisol, for all your diligence in assisting us with this, and all the rest of the staff, Tom, folks at the Borough President's Office. Madam Borough President, as I read last night, you are about to enter into the next phase of an awesome lifetime, and I think on behalf of myself and the folks at EDC, we thank you for your service. We thank you for your commitment to the Bronx and the 20, 30 plus years of service that you've given this community, and we appreciate everything you've done. And we look forward to seeing you blossom in the next phase of your life. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Charlie Samboy, Assistant Vice President for Government and Community Relations for the Economic Development Corporation. I oversee the Bronx projects on behalf of our agency. I'm joined by Senior Vice President Hester Muse, who's at our real estate office, and Hannah Burde as well. We have a number of copies here in the event that folks can't see the screen. Does anyone else need copies? We have about 6 or 7 more. We can get you a few copies. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll be running through a brief presentation that describes a few related initiatives that the city is doing with respect to this project, and then we'll jump right into the project itself. So on this slide, what we are showing is the location of the proposed site for the Bronx Point project. It is on the north side of the 149th Street Bridge at Excelsior Street. It is comprised of 3 different portions of the site. Phase 1 will be on the northernmost portion of that site. Phase 2 will be on the southern portion of that site. And on the waterfront side of that site will be the extension of open space from Mill Pond Park, as well as Esplanade that takes on the entire waterfront of that site. The site itself is about 175,000 square feet, which is just shy of 5 acres. It is one of the largest sites that the city has left in its portfolio in terms of its ability to create housing, create jobs, open space, and a number of things. So we're very excited that we are moving forward expeditiously with this project to help achieve a number of goals. The site just finished a land use process that began earlier this year in January. We had worked together with the community board, this borough president, the city planning commission, and ultimately the council that approved it this October. The site was rezoned from a manufacturing site to a mixed-use residential and commercial site, and it also included mapping a special waterfront district, which mandates open space on the waterfront. So this site is part of a larger initiative on behalf of the administration. Back in 2015, the administration announced a just shy of $200 million investment in infrastructure and other things in this larger community. And it mirrors to some extent the rezoning that happened in 2009. So in 2009, a rezoning from 149th Street south to pretty much the river between what is about Park Avenue and the Harlem River. That was rezoned from what was primarily a manufacturing zone. It was rezoned to allow for residential and commercial development. However, what we didn't see was a number of those goals to come to fruition. So we had hoped to see housing development take place. We had hoped to see commercial and community facilities take place. But as you know, in 2008, 2009, there was a significant downturn in the economy, which affected the ability for development to take place. One other thing that we noticed is that there was a significant shortage of infrastructure to help support development, and the funds that were allocated for this area were to help support that growth and implement infrastructure projects that would help make those things come to fruition. So as you'll see on the map here, the number 1, which is a green square on the waterfront, that was a waterfront park that was mapped in that 2009 rezoning. However, there were no funds allocated to actually purchasing that site, which is owned by 3 private owners, to be able to make it a park. So part of the initiative was allocating funds towards the acquisition, if need be through eminent domain, to make that park come to reality. The second part of that initiative was a complete reconstruction of Excelsior Street. For those of you that have either walked or driven down that street, it is very dangerous. It is not the best of places to either walk or drive. And we are going to be completely rebuilding that street from the ground up, including updating infrastructure that in some cases are over 100 years old, adding new infrastructure that currently doesn't exist. So a lot of property owners, should they want to develop housing of any kind, really don't have that opportunity because the infrastructure doesn't exist. And then at the end of the day, reconstructing Excelsior Street completely from 149th Street all the way down to 138th Street. And we will be undergoing a community process in about a year that will take into account community input and feedback to help guide how we can implement street furniture and other things that can help that a much more friendly place to walk and drive. We are the Economic Development Corporation, so part of our mission is ensuring that we help support jobs, and we will be exploring a broadband access strategy for this part of the South Bronx. And then lastly is the actual site, which we've been calling up to this point the Lower Concourse North, which is that 5-acre site that I mentioned. So we did an RFP back in 2016, and we had a developer selected this year, right alongside CPC review during the ULURP. And what we are here today is to seek a disposition authority from this borough board to help move forward and enter into a lease with Bronx Point Development. Next slide. I'll quickly run through this, but essentially we engaged in a community process to help inform the RFEI that led to this development. And we had a number of sessions with Community Board 1, with Community Board 4. We also sat with a number of local nonprofits and community-based organizations, with the leadership of the Speaker's Office, represented here today by Rebecca and Gloria. We had a number of working sessions with Eastside House, Hostos, Bronx Works, Bronx Community Congress, and a number of other organizations to help come to a place where a lot of folks felt comfortable with the strategies that we were deploying and how we were going to use this site to help advance a number of key goals. So the proposed development is a two-phase project. We have authority through the land use process to now develop up to 1,045 units of housing and 150,000 square feet of commercial and community facility space. It is well defined right now that phase one will have approximately 600 units of permanently affordable housing at various income ranges, which I will go into in a minute. And a lot of the benefits associated with the community and commercial facility will be delivered in phase one. So there is up to 57,000 square feet of arts and education space, 38,000 square feet for a movie theater, 7,500 square feet for a community facility, and 12,500 square feet for a retail space. And there's also a significant amount of open space associated with this project. So there will be open space on the waterfront. There will also be a extension of open space coming from Mill Pond Park onto this site, and there will also be a public plaza facing exterior street. So as you can imagine, there will be open space completely surrounding this site, and that was a key goal coming out of this process, and something that Community Board 4 and the Speaker's Office insisted that we ensure that we deliver, and we're happy to be there today. In terms of affordability, phase one, which today is very well defined, is, as I mentioned, approximately 600 units of affordable housing, which will be permanent. At least 20% of those units will be affordable to 30% of area median income, including 10%, which will be for the formerly homeless per HPD term sheets. There will be another band between 31% and 60% of AMI. 30% of those units will, at least 30% of units at or below 60% of AMI, at least 20% of units at or below 80% of AMI, and at least 15% of units at or below 100% of AMI. And no units will exceed 130% of AMI. So essentially all of these units on phase one will conform to HPD term sheets, and they will all be affordable permanently. So, one of the key goals coming out of or going into the ULURP process was ensuring that a significant portion of the units would be at or below 80% of AMI, and what we're happy to see and work with the Speaker's Office was that we achieved 50%, or half of the site will be dedicated to income levels 60% of AMI or lower. So while we certainly want to provide opportunity for a mix of incomes, we have to ensure that we deliver units at affordability levels for folks that currently live in the community, and we're happy to do so through phase one. Phase two, and I'll go in a bit into timeline, but phase two is a number of years out, and working with the Speaker's Office, we don't have a sense, while we can try to predict, we don't have an exact sense of how the market will shift in a number of years, but we wanted to ensure that through the disposition authority today, essentially they weren't writing a blank check for us to move forward with any affordability or any project. So working diligently with the Speaker's Office, we set a framework that we think provides a level of assurance of what affordability levels to expect, but also gives us, the city and HPD, a sense of a framework and flexibility that we can work around. So as part of that process, what we came to a conclusion was that we would try to maximize affordability as much as possible within the HPD term sheets, essentially maximizing affordability levels within the city's programs and minimizing any units that would be market rate or above 130% of AMI. And through this process, the framework that we set was that at least 20% of total housing units would be for income levels up to 30% of AMI, inclusive of formerly homeless units, So today, the HPD term sheets include a requirement for formerly homeless units. We don't know if that's going to be the case in a number of years, but we want to make sure that we have a band of incomes at the lowest tier of AMI. We also set 30% of units between 31% and 60% of AMI. So essentially, again, mirroring phase one. Phase two will have half of its units at or below 60% of AMI. And then we will strive to achieve no more than 20% of units in the market rate band, which is above 130% of AMI. So, you know, essentially phase one will have 600 units, all permanent, 300 of which will be at or below 60% of AMI. Phase two will have a maximum of 445 units, 223 and a half of those, which will be at or below 60% of AMI. So, you know, essentially about 500 or so units are going to be at income levels below 60% of AMI. So in terms of the business terms which we are presenting to you today, which include a 99-year lease for this site for the developer. It will be an initial term of 40 years and 3 renewal options bringing them up to 99 years. So the city will retain ownership of this land. It is a policy that we are seeking to implement as much as possible, wherever possible. As you can imagine, throughout the last several decades, the city has sold a significant portion of its land to help support affordable housing. But at the moment, we are looking to a strategy that retains ownership of land within the city's portfolio. So we, EDC, will continue to manage this site and oversee it with the developer. The developer will fund a Parks Department maintenance for the waterfront esplanade, which is a mandate within their contract for them to continue to do so in perpetuity. The developer will also maintain that public plaza facing exterior street, and all of that open space will remain accessible for the longevity of the lease. And we'll maintain the same operating hours as Mill Pond Park. So we will strive, and our goal is to have a process where if you're walking from Mill Pond Park into this site, it is extremely seamless. You won't be able to tell the difference between what is parkland and what is open space as part of this project. And we will also be working with the Parks Department so that the hours are maintained the same. So as hours might change in Mill Pond Park, they will be the same hours on this site. And in the coming months, as part of our commitment to Community Board 4, we will be entering into a public design process which will incorporate community ideas, feedback, suggestions, on how we can activate and use and design that open space so that it meets the needs of the community residents that are using Mill Pond Park today and that will be using this open space well into the future. We estimate that the economic benefits of this job will help support 1,000 construction jobs and over 150 permanent jobs. So through the city's Hire NYC program, the developer is mandated to participate in a process that seeks to employ as many local residents as possible, and we hold them accountable to that process, that they ensure they market jobs to the local community, they work with local community workforce organizations to help source as many local residents into this permanent jobs as possible, and we will be working together with our partners at SBS to help do so. And there's also a MWBE component which seeks to spend as many dollars that will construct this project, spend as much of that as possible in minority and women business enterprise entities. Lastly, in terms of timeline, so this project was approved by the City Council in October of this year. Today we are seeking the Borough Board authority to enter into a lease with the developer, and the finance closing will happen in 2019. And just to give you some color into why there's such a long process between today when we are seeking authority to enter into a lease and fall of 2019. So given the unique location of this site and the geographic constraints that it has, you have the Harlem River on one side, you have the Major Deegan, on the other side you have a bridge on the south side, and you have a park on the north side. So as you can imagine, there's a number of interested agencies that have to provide approvals and other things with respect to the design of the project. So we will be working with the Army Corps of Engineers with respect to the Harlem River and how we treat anything with respect to the bulk and shoreline. We will be having to work with the state DOT with respect to the design and how close this building gets to the Major Deegan, city DOT with respect to the bridge at 145th Street, and then ultimately other interested agencies like Department of Buildings, Fire Department, and others that have to provide input and approval of certain design elements. So we hope to be breaking ground in winter of 2019, shortly after financing has closed. And we hope to finish that phase about 3 years later in 2022. And then the developer is required within 3 years of completion of phase 1 to begin phase 2. But throughout all of this process, we know it's about 7 years from now, but our commitment throughout this entire process is to continue to work with the community board for Councilmember-elect Ayala, this borough president's office, and all other interested parties to help ensure that we achieve the goals we originally said we would do back in 2015 when we started this process. So with that, I pass it back to Madam Borough President.
Thank you very much. That was quite comprehensive. And now, for those of you who have questions or comments regarding this. Nothing? Would Councilwoman Viverito's office like to make a comment? Oh, okay.
Ms. Swan is going to make the motion after you hear from the council member.
Thank you. Let me first recognize Community Board number 4. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, and good morning, all. Community Board 4 had a general meeting with the with EDC and the developers on let's see, that was November the 28th, and the board affirmed to give them a long-term lease for the property, and of course we have to have some conditions there. And at that time, well, what the board is noted for its approval is for the general terms of the ground lease. And we do not endorse any specific use generated at that meeting, because there was a lot of discussions. So we do not approve any of the general commercial space or community space at that time. But we did approve moving forward with the project itself. And at this time, I make a motion that we enter into a long-term lease agreement with the developers, and that is coming from Community Board 4.
Okay.
Anything in there?
Is there a second to that motion? Okay, Ms. Viverito. Good.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Crimmins. I work for City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito, and I'm going to read a statement on her behalf about the project. Throughout the ULURP process, I've heard the concerns voiced about this project and have worked hard to ensure that this project responds to those concerns and brings quality open space, community facility and cultural space, and much needed affordable housing to the South Bronx community. On open space, the project will deliver approximately 2.6 acres of open spaces, a waterfront esplanade, an expansion of Mill Pond Park, and a public plaza along Exterior Street. The developer will also be required to incorporate a publicly accessible bathroom in phase 1 of the project. EDC and Parks will complete a long-promised park, one that was mapped as part of the 2009 Lower Concourse rezoning at 144th Street, south of this site. The city is currently going through the condemnation process to acquire the map parkland along the Harlem River waterfront to develop new waterfront park. Additionally, the Parks Department will invest in existing open space through the allocation of $6.8 million in funding the Bronx Community District 4 to reconstruct the Franz Siegel ball fields. This complements council funding for this field in fiscal year 2018. Charlie went into detail about affordability, so I won't reiterate, but we're very pleased where it's landed with affordability, and we think that it achieves both deep affordability and a variety of income bands on the project. On schools, I'm happy to announce that the city will site a new approximately 572-seat school located within Subdistrict 3 at 639 St. Anne's Avenue to help address the school seat impact. Finally, on community space, this project will provide a large amount of community facility space that is slated to include the Universal Hip Hop Museum, a movie theater, local nonprofit Bronx Works, and space for other community-serving uses. I want to thank the development team, L&M Development Partners, and Type A Projects for the discussions thus far, and for their commitment to ongoing discussions with the community, and EDC, HPD, Parks, Community Board 4, and the council staff for their hard work on this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have a second. Are there any other comments? Any other questions? Okay, we can go to the vote. Community Board 4, Ms. Saunders, yes. The council members, Ms. Viverito. Mr. Cohen? Yes. Mr. King? Is anyone present? I don't think anyone's there. Mr. Vaca? No one's here. Mr. Cabrera? Yes. Mr. Torres? Yes. Ms. Gibson? Yes. Mr. Salamanca? Yes. Ms. Palmer? Not present, okay. And the borough president votes yes. So the vote is unanimous and the motion is passed. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, that's right. The next item on the agenda is an update on organizational changes at YAI. We have a presentation by Reverend Rhonda McLean-Nur from the Arts. She's the Arts Access Consultant at YAI organization. Good morning. And please tell us what YAI is.
I've only got a minute.
Yes.
Only 60 seconds in it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I abuse it, give account if I misuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Mr. Benjamin Mays. Thank you for having me today. I am Reverend Rhonda McLean-Nur, representing YAI, and furthermore representing HAI at YAI. YAI stands for Young Adult Institute, or people may have formerly known it as Young Adult Institute, and YAI services people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We support their entire lifespan with health services, residential services, respite services, family services for the families supporting the people that we support, and recreational services, social services. YAI is one of the oldest long-standing institutions, agencies, nonprofit agencies that have supported people with IDD for years. It is well known throughout the country, and we have lots of programs which later, before you leave, please take a flyer and a card. We also have a link program that you can call and get referrals for services for any of your constituents or family members that may be dealing with an individual with IDD. HAI at YAI is an arts access program. We provide arts access to all kinds of populations, particularly people with IDD, seniors, frail, elderly, homeless populations, and schools. We have live performances where we have over 350 artists, Caribbean steel pan bands, ballet dance companies, Chinese dance companies, a variety of arts live performances that go into organizations and institutions, senior citizen homes, nursing homes, schools, and all kinds of places. We have arts workshops that provide a wide range of participatory programs in health and social service and educational agencies. We have theater, drama, well, that's the same thing. Theater, music, art, and we provide workshops. Our programs are about transforming lives through the arts. We have workshops in the schools, conflict resolution and youth leadership, where we deal with addressing social issues, getting young people to look at social issues and address them through the arts. We have role-playing techniques where we know that when you put something in your body and you role-play it and act it out, it becomes a part of you. So some of those workshops we do for adults and youth and children. So let's say we are having an issue, you and I, and at work, and you feel like I am a micromanager, and I'm your supervisor. So we're going to do a quick role play so we can let people understand what we do. Okay? Are you ready?
Sure.
I kind of volunteered her. Everybody give her a big hand so she can participate. Okay, so somebody give me a situation that the supervisor and employee are having. Hello? She wants to leave early on Friday. Okay. All right, so you have to tell me that. What's my name?
Oh, no.
It can't be a name that we know.
Miss Gray.
Miss Gray. And what's her name? Miss Brown. Okay. Somebody say 1, 2, 3, action.
1, 2, 3, action.
Hello, Miss Brown. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you, Miss Gray.
Good.
I come to you because I would like to leave early on Friday to deal with a personal matter.
Leave early? That's not in your schedule.
It's something that I have to address. It's an
Okay. Miss Brown, you cannot leave early on Friday. You didn't ask, you didn't put in for it. Today is Wednesday. No, you can't leave early on Friday. That's the end of it.
Wow. So So, Ms. Gray, is there any way that we can maybe make up the hours somewhere else? I really need
Ms.
to address
Brown,
this.
I expect you to be in the office this Friday. You deal with your personal business on your personal time. You can take a lunch hour, go do it then. We have a schedule here that we're dealing with and a deadline. You have taken personal time a lot of times. No, not this Friday.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, give her. Usually it doesn't go that well. I didn't prep her enough to tell her that we had to keep the conflict going. But let's say she kept on with and it escalated to a conflict, okay? Because she really does need to take off Friday. We would stop the scene, talk to the audience, the population that we're dealing with, and then have somebody replay it themselves, particularly the people who are having the issue. Have them become the person or the supervisor if it's an employee, and the supervisor become the employee. Once you're in somebody else's shoes, then you're able to practice a new behavior, yes? And practice a new way of talking and expressing yourself so that everybody can have a win-win situation. Those are some of the kinds of workshops we do in terms of conflict resolution in theater. We have arts workshops with visual arts workshops that are magnificent for every kind of population. We have a group ticket sales program. And the group ticket sales program, we are a licensed vendor. You can get group tickets to Chicago on Broadway, or to the Knicks basketball game at Madison Square Garden, or to off-Broadway shows. So we have a ticket program, and my colleague Uli in the back is the ticket vendor. And we have transportation services where if you have a senior citizen nursing home or a school, we have services to help provide to go on those trips. And we have a Describe program where people who are blind or are legally blind or have issues, where someone describes the performances at the Broadway theaters, off-Broadway theaters, and other places. We have professional development training. So if your organization needs some cultural sensitivity training or goal setting or time management or life skills training, we offer that through the arts. Just going to read something and then close. Sorry. How many of you have ever heard of YAI? Okay. How many of you ever heard of HAI, or hospital audiences? Okay. So, how I feel looking out this window. The view of the airport and the Manhattan making you feel like you've got the best view in the world, when in reality, I see the flashing lights of the cop cars and the Hudson River that surrounds us, feeling like I let my mama down, like my father's up there looking down on me, shaking his head. The taste of the same food every day of the week, the sounds of the planes landing, the smell of the dirty sewage out there in the water, looking out this window feeling Honduras, looking out this window wishing I was there with all those tall buildings. There is something about that window. That's by a young lady who was 16 at Rikers Island, sharing her innermost feelings about being in prison at 16. When people are able to express themselves, they're able to look inside and reflect and get a new perspective. And that's what we at HAI and YA are about, transforming lives through the arts and helping people to get a new perspective. I thank you so much for giving me time, for giving us time to share with you what we do at YAI and HAI at YAI. There are flyers over there and cards so that you can get more information. Oh, last thing, we have lots of programs in the Bronx, respite centers, day rehabilitation programs, and other services. So please look on there, call me, call any of the numbers on there, and we hopefully can serve you, and you can come and talk with us.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Thank
Really
you.
great.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before you leave, are there any questions or comments from anyone? Okay, thank you again.
Thank you.
Very good. Our final issue is an introduction to the Excelsior Growth Fund. We have a presentation by Marlon Molina, the Assistant Vice President of Excelsior Growth Fund. Now, you don't look like Marlon. Good morning. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks so much for having me here. I don't look like Marlon because my name is Aissatou Ba, and this is my third week at Excelsior. And I'm very grateful for the invitation. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm here today to talk about Excelsior Growth Fund. We are very grateful for this platform. So what is Excelsior Growth Fund? We are a community development financial organization. That's a designation that's given to us by the Treasury. And our mission, it's given to us because our mission is to provide financial products, in this instance loans, to small businesses in communities with the goal really of helping those communities grow. So our goal is economic development, and we measure that by providing loans to businesses that need it, with the hope that they will start their businesses or grow their businesses, and with that they will create jobs, and in return help the community and pay taxes also, because that's what the government likes. So we are a community development financial institution. We were founded 2 years ago. We are affiliated with the New York Business Development Corporation, which is also a lender that's been around for years now, decades. We are also an affiliate of the 504 company. So I'm here today because we would like to spread the word about who we are and what we do, engage the community, and help you spread the word about us. We live in a challenging time for small businesses. Small businesses have a lot of challenges to get a loan when they're starting up. They also have a lot of challenge when they've started to grow their business, get funding, because they're busy every day. They also have challenges getting the knowledge that they need to operate their businesses efficiently. And we were created with the goal of serving that. We offer loans of addressing those needs. We offer loans from $10,000 to $5.5 million. We also offer educational programs to those small businesses, in terms of giving them the knowledge they need to efficiently manage the financial aspect, the operations, the technological aspect, and we offer all of that at no cost, right? Now, this is an interesting time for small businesses because there is a lot of online lenders, that market has emerged over the past 5-10 years, a lot of online lenders who are aggressive, that are offering loans at high interest rates, and we are the opposite. We are a nonprofit lender, but we offer fast loans at very flexible and affordable rates. We also offer SBA lending, online lending, all lending that, we have all type of programs that fit all businesses. We work with startups, businesses that have never opened their doors. We work with businesses that are open, struggling. When we do our analysis of their applications, we look at it in different ways that other lenders would do. And we partner with banks because actually our goal is to help those businesses get along the way to a point where they are bankable. That's our mission, right? So we offer all these great things, but we find that a lot of people do not know about us. So my goal here today is, to address, to speak to what we offer and address you. If you have people in the communities here that whether they are organizations that help small businesses, whether they're people, relatives, acquaintances, even yourself, who may need a small business loan, we want you to contact us, tell us about you. We are very, very interested in spreading the word even further in the Bronx. This is an area where we find that a lot of businesses have challenges in terms of the information. Business owners on a daily basis, they are at their business running things, and when they need that financing, they really don't know how to go about that. So we offer workshops on access to capital to educate people on how to get through that process. Like, what do you need to get loan ready, right? You don't wait until it's raining to find the umbrella. Maybe you need the umbrella ahead of time. Get that knowledge so that you're ready when you know what you need to know when you're ready. So those workshops that we offer, again, at no cost, we are looking for local organizations who would be willing to partner with us, collaborate with us, where we can come at your local organization. If you can find the people, we will come and deliver that workshop for free. Again, with the goal to educate the people, to engage the community. We have, the Bronx is really an area where we would really like to, for the next few months, have programs of that kind. On access to capital, we also have other workshops on financial management. I encourage anyone who's here today, if you want to engage with me, I can share contacts, and I can follow up with you. If not you, someone else that you may know, we want to connect. We work with contractors, right? We have a product that's called contract financing, where we offer loans up to $500,000 to prime contractors or subcontractors who do business with city agencies and EDC, New York Economic Development Corporation. So if those people have contracts with them, we offer that financing at 3% interest rate. Like, people should know about this, but they don't know. And we are doing aggressive outreach, and we hope, really hope, and that's why we are grateful for this platform, that you will help us spread the word here in the Bronx, because really, again, the goal is to spread that information. Without the information, people are powerless, and when they need the money, they'll go to an online lender and get high interest rates, shark loans, really, that actually will damage their business more than help their business. And I can tell you for sure that right now we are refinancing a lot of those loans, and our hope is always that we come to refinance them before it's too late, right? So this is really a great, pleasure and honor for me, and I hope that anyone here in this room knows someone, knows an organization that they can connect me with, that they can follow up with me. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, if you know a contractor, an organization that works with small business, anything, I'm happy to hear. If you have questions, reaching out, following up with phone calls. Again, we offer a tremendous amount of things, loans from 10 to 5.5 million, and really we just want to engage and connect with you and follow up. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you.
And thank you for coming in and sharing that. That was very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for her? Yes, Ken. You have to use the microphone here.
Okay.
Come on up. Sorry about the accommodations.
Thank you very much. This is a very exciting opportunity. We have a lot of burgeoning economic development in our district. At what point in the incorporation process would you be willing to countenance a loan to an organization? Do they have to be incorporated? At what stage of incorporation would you be willing to engage them? That's one. Do you have any products for microenterprise development, or under $10,000, $5,000 capitalization range? Do you have any individual development account products? That's enough for now, but I would really like to
What is an
engage.
individual development account program?
Sorry, that is for individual consumers
Okay.
that have contracted a specific savings period of
Okay.
time for a particular purchase, usually around microenterprise capitalization.
Okay, so I will start with that question. Because we are not a bank, we are not a depository institution, we do not accept deposit. Because of that, we are unable to have those kind of programs. But I know a lot of organizations would do. So we are a financial institution focusing on lending without a depository side. So because of that, we cannot offer those kind of programs because we cannot match the deposits. And also, we cannot offer a line of credits because we do not have, again, that depository function. But we are a financial institution, so as far as the loan amounts, yes, we offer microloans. As a matter of fact, this year we got I cannot state exactly what was the amount, but I think it was over close to $2 million that we received from the SBA. We offered for microloans, right? We work with the SBA, and the SBA is a small business administration that facilitates small business lending by supporting organizations like us. So we offer a lot of other programs, including Community Advantage, but this time around we received money for micro lending, and we were able to do that. So we offer microloans, so we are happy to have that discussion. Now, I think the first question was about what stage we are willing to work with the businesses. We are really willing to work with businesses at any stage, right? We are a lender. We are actually the largest small business lender in New York State and one of the largest in the nation. So we are glad to engage the businesses as early as possible. We like to think about ourselves as a lender who offers full suite of lending, like through the full lending continuum. Like from the moment you start, like you're that burgeoning person, you should have a lender, a good lender, a good attorney, a good CPA, right? Those are the three pillars for you to succeed. If you connect with us, we can start you and again lend you throughout the process until you get to a point where you're making so much money you don't need a small lender anymore. You need to go to a bank, right? So we are happy to engage as early in the process as possible, again, to educate those people, because if they know that information that on anything they should know, then they're least likely to go to predatory lending, and that's important. And whenever we are unable to assist them, we will refer them to other partner organizations, because there are cases like that. And one thing that I touched upon but briefly is our business advisory services, which we offer at no cost. So for someone who comes, if they're not ready, we will tell them, okay, you have this project, you know, it's great, but we think based on our experience, and we have a lot of experience, this is what you need to do, okay? Take this workshop, write your business plan, do this, do that, and we will put them through that path, and we will re-engage when they're ready, we will follow up. I think that's the good thing about us, is that we are not just a one transaction and you're gone, you're out of the door. We really want to follow up with you throughout, from the start to where you're such a great business that you actually can afford a loan at a bank, because a lot of people don't know that when they're starting a business, they're not yet bankable. They're not ready for a loan bank. They have to start with lenders like us who exist because we need to help those people who cannot get a loan at a bank.
No.
Okay, I hope that wasn't too long an answer.
No, that was great. Will you stick around after the meeting?
Absolutely.
Because
I am
wanna talk
here
you offline.
to answer questions, give out a business card, just so you know, because it's my third week, they have ordered my business card. So what I did, I tried to be creative. I printed them on this piece of paper. So be patient with me. But yeah, I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Good, thank you very much.
What I would ask is that you send the information to our office. Please send it to Marisol's attention.
Okay.
And we can distribute it out to all the community boards.
Exactly. And the community boards, please, I would love to hear from you if you have any suggestions. Again, we want to do these outreach courses about loans. Happy to hear back from you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
this.
Thank you. Were there any other questions, comments? Oh, yes, hold on. You're not off the hook yet. Thank you.
Thank you again for that presentation.
Thank you.
I mean, clearly there's such a great need for our small businesses that are not yet bankable and startups. So it's really interesting to hear about your services. Would you be willing to, if a community board, maybe an economic development committee organized a gathering of local merchants and entrepreneurs, would you be able to come and present and tell about your services?
Absolutely. That's the kind of opportunities we're looking for, and we would be thrilled. We've been doing some outreach to some bids and the merchant associations, just to tell them the same thing. And if you have an opportunity like that, for me it's like bingo. We are so excited about that. We would love to do that.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm with Community Board 8, and I'm sure our Economic Development Committee would certainly be interested, so I'll get your information. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, because again, without you, we are not successful, because we need the audience, and we want you to help us find the audience.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't see any other hands, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I neglected at the beginning to introduce Ms. Jessica Cruz, who's the newest member, or one of the newest members to our staff. She's working with planning and development, and we look forward to her being very successful. So if you need anything in that arena, please let her know. And with that, we have concluded this year's work. You all will be meeting next year, but I won't be here. I will be retiring at the end of the year, as you know, and I look forward to it. I want to thank you all for being cooperative over these 8.5 years with me, and we work together very well, and I look forward to you continuing to be very successful, because the Bronx is on the rise, and it has truly been a blessing in my life to see it, since I'm a born and bred Bronxite, to see the growth that we have been able to achieve in the short time that Borough President Ruben Diaz has been here. So I want to thank you all. I want to encourage you and keep you in my prayers. I just thank you all for the work that we've been able to accomplish together. And of course, with these two by my side each meeting. So continue to grow, continue to prosper. I thank you all. Have a beautiful holiday season, and With that, I have to say bye-bye.
Borough was opened in November 18, 2013, and now we'll have 4 years of being the sole owner of My Haven. My Haven is kind of like the Cheers of the Bronx, where I like my customers to feel welcome the moment they walk into the door, and the moment when they leave, I make sure they say hi and bye all the time. Once a month we have comedy night, we have game night, karaoke every Friday. We also have open mic the first Saturday of every month. Outside of that, we also have the back room that they could do private events, catering, meetings, etc. My menu is pretty unique. It's very versatile. You could find anything from burgers, pasta, flatbread, schnitzel, which is just chicken breast with mashed potatoes, and what we call Israeli salad. Our most popular dish in the salad will be the sesame tuna salad. We're very flexible. If there's something there that you want, we'll do our best to make it happen. We have one specific artist. His name is Jeff. He usually does the rotation of the artwork. He is a community resident. He lives across the street, and he comes in almost every day. And he has sold a few pieces by them being here. And so far, he's been my only artist. I would like for everyone to come on out to My Haven Bar and Grill at 1 Bruckner Boulevard and try us out.
Social Club has been here for about 9 months now. We do wood-fired pizza in our oven there. Everything we do here is homemade, from the dough to basically every ingredient we use is fresh. Our chef, Tom, is trained in Italy. He's owned a couple other restaurants before, and this is kind of his specialty. We love this neighborhood. I've lived in this neighborhood for 7 years. And the neighborhood is still growing. You know, the residents really want more diversity in the restaurant, so we thought it'd be something that the neighborhood would really like to have. So far the response is great. I mean, everybody loves the food. I think people are really happy to have something different than the other places that have been around here for a while. The focus is the stuff that comes out of the oven behind me. The pizza is the main thing that we do here, and then beyond that, homemade meatballs and spaghetti. It's just kind of comfort food, especially for this time of year. We have pub buffalo wings. They're made with cherry peppers and a vinegar brine. They're really tasty. The oven we got, it's called a Pavesi spinner. It's made in Italy, and one of the cool features of it is that the deck spins so that it helps cook the pizza evenly. So we always get the consistent pizza we like. So we had locally well-known graffiti artist who goes by Tracy168, so we brought him in to kind of keep the local vibe. And we're here 7 days a week, open for lunch and dinner, and I hope everybody in Kingsbridge, Riverdale area and beyond throughout the Bronx, you know, come check it out.